Hi, I'm David Sprague. In this training, we'll be teaching you lights, camera, and backgrounds. And so lights, camera, and backgrounds can be very complicated or it can be super simple. So we're just going to teach you the super simple, easy to do stuff that'll make you look amazing. So first of all, let's talk about lights. Now, all you really need is a really well lit room. Most cameras today have amazing features on them where you can adjust the contrast, adjust the brightness, adjust the white, just all kinds of things that you can do. So literally in a dimly lit room, you can still get away with amazing quality video. The problem is as the room gets a little more dim, the clarity gets a little bit more grainy. And we've all experienced that if we've got smartphones or older phones that literally, when you get dark, it kind of gets that grainy feel. Well, we don't want that at all. The way to get that grainy feel out is to literally just add a little bit of light on your subject. Now, typically speaking, when you're going to be interviewing someone or you're going to do a selfie interview, you just need a little bit of light on your face. Now, you can go to any Home Depot or any actually office supply store and get a light. You can be really small, it's kind of desktop lights, or even the older lights that actually have like an arm on them, and you can just turn the cover of that light literally facing you just to give you enough light so that you don't blend in with the background and then your eyes really light up and your face really lights up, because that's what we were really speaking to. And there's no interview I've ever seen where the light isn't good on the subject itself. So just make sure you're in a really well lit area. Now, what if you're not in a well lit area? What can you do? Well, for really about $60, you can buy what's called a box light. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go to Amazon. So let's just type in video box light set. And you're going to see actually what comes up. There's a lot of really, really cool stuff that you can get. But really all you want to do is get one box light. When I talk about box light, I'm talking about this Studio Pro. See these box lights here? Do not get the umbrellas. Make sure you get a box light. And the reason you actually want a box light is because, first of all, they use fluorescent lighting. And fluorescent lighting is already a diffused lighting. Now, years ago, we used to use lights that literally threw off like 300 degrees. It was crazy. You would just almost melt and drip in front of them. Today's marketplace, we use a lot of fluorescent lighting. So fluorescent lights are long-term. They're already diffused, they're cheap. And so if I scroll down a little bit farther here, you can see here, let's see if we can find, let's just, oh, you know what, I put set in the top. Let me change that to just light itself. See if we can find one. There we go. So you can see for $69, it's prime. You can get it in 48 hours. There's a great box light. So let's just click on it here. So you can see here it comes with a stand. They've got some really good ratings here, always a good thing. And they got something here, which is it's a quad outlet, or actually it's a 5 outlet system. So you can put an outlet, you can put a bulb right in the middle, or you can actually put 4 on the sides and 1 in the middle. Now I actually don't have this. I've just got one light on me and one bulb. But let me share with you the bulb. You can see here. Now that's a bulb. So I just want to explain, when it comes to fluorescent lighting, typically they come with the real small lights, and you can buy those at really any store. But you really want to go and get a big light, one light that'll get all the light that you ever need. And so also I want to mention to you, you can see here that the light on a fluorescent light is got the kind of squiggly lines here. So what's happening is typically on a light that's directly at you, it's going to be direct, but this is already diffused. So when it's sitting this way, the only light that's actually coming out to you is actually right here. All the rest of the light comes out, emulates, and then bounces off the actual inside of the box light. So it's a very diffused light, so it's nice and soft. And so so that's why you're getting really good coverage here, because it's spread really, really well, where you don't see it like right here and then it gets a little dimmer as it goes down. So these types of box lights using fluorescent lights are really fantastic. Now let me show you real quick how you get that. You can type in big fluorescent light and bulb. I should put light bulb, my bad. So let's see here. I'm coming to a little short. See if it's a lot. Maybe it's large. You type in. There we go. So type in large fluorescent light bulb. So you can see here, you've got a really good one here that you can use. Obviously, you wouldn't want to use this. This is typically, you know, what most people will buy, which is great because if you bought this one, you could actually put 4 in there. And but see, when you put 4, they're just as expensive as getting one big one. So so you can put large single fluorescent bulb. And I don't actually see them. I actually bought all mine from Home Depot. So this actually, the one I showed you actually came from Home Depot itself. But that's good enough right there. You can use these, this one right here or this one right here. It's gonna, or use 4 of them. So so that's it. Now let me show you the actual box light itself. So if you take a look at this, you can see they're really easy to fold up. It's just like an umbrella. And what you do is simply take the inside here and you just push it down like that. And then you'll take the bulb and you just screw it in. There you go. Matter of fact, let me turn it on real quick. I wasn't thinking about doing this, but let me just show you so you can see the diffused light. There you go. So you can see now how diffused it is. It's not really harsh at all. So it's nice and easy. And what every box light will come is a chimera or a box light cover that you can actually just Velcro right here. So very easy stuff. So that's really it for a light. Just get a nice simple light for your face or for your subject's face. You can get a box light. Now what I used to do is when we did this and used to charge $4,000-$6,000 to actually do video, we would take a box light kit you just saw for $100. We'd get a camera that's an HD camera, and then we would actually get a microphone and a stand and send it to them as a television studio kit. So for literally like $150, we could ship that to a customer, and then we'd be able to video them remotely and be able to actually get really great HD quality video in doing that. So let's talk about cameras real quick. So currently, I'm actually videoing off what's called the 920 Logitech. It's an older camera, but I love it. So it ain't broke, don't fix it. So let's take a look at this. So the Logitech 920 has got a newer version, which is the 930. And you can see here the 920 is literally $60. So very cheap. It's a look, you can see here over 2,000 reviews. It's a top seller. The 930 is also a great camera too. And what I love about the 920 is it gives you some great options. I've done a lot of cool stuff with this camera because it is HD. It does have dual microphones, so the quality is very good when it comes to the audio. And then more importantly than that is it actually is the only camera that I'm aware of, at least, that's a webcam that actually has a stand under it where you can screw in a tripod. So, it's a tripod attachment. So you can literally, small tripods, big tripods. I used to actually have 2 or 3 of these 920s, and I used to do multiple camera angle shots. So HD quality, 720 by 1080p. It's fantastic video. And again, with the dual mics, it's got really great rich sound. So now you can use any type of actual video. You can use iPads, you can use your iPhone, you can use your Android. So it's obviously a little bit more difficult sometimes with that piece of equipment because you have to have a stand, it's got to be tilted right, and you really don't want, when you're doing an interview, at least this type of interview, a shaky hand, because an interview that is being made to look like someone else is in the room interviewing them, you typically wouldn't get a shaky camera. Now if you're doing a testimonial, right, that's easy to do. A shaky camera, that's fantastic. When you're doing an interview, you want really still stuff. So you don't have to have this extra stuff. I'm just explaining how I got the shot here and how you can get the exact same shot as well. So very easy stuff to do. You get a 920 or use your, and by the way, Apple comes with any pretty much MacBook or Air or whatever you're going to get comes with a really beautiful built-in camera. So anything Apple is great. Anything PC, You just never know. You got to try it out. It's hard to control, and that's another thing I like about the Logitech 2. It comes with a really great suite of software that allows you to actually control the hue, the white balance, the exposure, the contrast. And so when you're in a kind of a weird room or the lighting's there, you can make it look simply amazing in advance. So some very cool stuff you can do with the Logitech. I strongly recommend it. But again, it's not the only choice and it's not necessary. I'm just explaining what I use so that you can benefit from that. Now, the last thing I want to share with you is the background. Now, we already talked about backgrounds in another training when we talk about just not having distractions and make sure everything's clean. Now, I just want to show you a little trick here. So the wall behind me is about 2 feet. Okay, so I'm touching the wall right here. This is a white wall. And so I don't like white walls. I think they're really good for some people. I just personally don't like it. I like it more of an infinity black wall. I just think it looks more professional and it just allows people to, you know, and when it comes to clothes, you stand out. I've seen a lot, unless you do it right with the white background, sometimes it's it can get a little glowy, and so either one is going to be perfectly fine. Just know that all you need to do is go into a fabric shop, get a remnant, and the remnant I have on my wall is literally 8 feet wide, and typical fabric comes in 50 inches. So I'm sorry, 50 inches. It's 5 feet. No, 60 inches. Okay, it's 5 feet. So it comes in 60 inches, and so you're gonna. It's 60 inches tall by about 8 feet wide. And so let me just kind of see if I can pull this up here real quick. Gives me an opportunity to kind of see what's going on. So if I move back here, you can see the kind of outskirts of the wall here. Hopefully you can see that. There you go. So you can see that's just thumbtacked to the wall. That's it. So so I can take it down, put it up anytime. So even if you're in an office space that you're renting, you're not going to have any type of problem whatsoever having them be able to put something up, take some video. This is fantastic when you're actually interviewing other people as well. So if you decide to use these strategies to interview others, then if they've got kind of a background that's you know, whatever might be on the wall, you can just have them throw something up. But the most important thing is that you just make sure that your background is clean. It's better just to use a white wall and not try to get fancy. But if you want to get fancy, you'll get fancy spending about $12 at a local fabric shop, and I'd spend about 99 cents for thumbtacks to be able to tack up something on your wall. Now, the one thing you don't want to use is any type of bed sheeting or anything that actually will reflect light. So you want it to absorb light. And the way it absorbs light is typically a thicker, no sheen on it type of material. So it's not felt, but it's just a material that's a little bit thicker and doesn't shine, because the last thing you want to do is have something glimmering in the background or something that doesn't look clean. So this really looks like, you know, it could be 10 feet, 20 feet behind me studio. It could be 2 feet behind me. You just don't know with it. So anyway, so that's lighting, very easy. Typically you put your light about 12 inches behind the camera, and then you have a camera, typically an HD quality camera, and it also, what's great about getting a third-party camera is you can actually put it on a stand. And so as we talked about, or if you watch currently the training on how to do an off-center interview or a selfie interview, then that can be put on a stand and you can move it around and really adjust it, as opposed to typically mounting on the top of your laptop and then you can't really adjust it because you have to adjust your laptop. So these are some good tips and tricks to be able to get a really good camera for a cheap price, one light for a really cheap price, and then make sure that your background is really clean. White background, black background, it doesn't make a difference. Just make sure it's not distracting to the content that you're going to be delivering in the interview. So hopefully that helps. Let's dive into the next training. We'll see you there.